Hello, my name is Rebecca Joseph from Rebecca's Illustration. Today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do watercolor manga illustration using basic watercolor techniques. I myself use watercolors a lot, and I want to share some tips and ideas and basic techniques how to do watercolors for manga drawing or for manga illustrations, so that you can create a dynamic or quite colourful, vibrant manga illustrations. So for this series, I'm going to be doing things in each section, so for different videos. So I'm going to start off by doing her skin. So I give you the basic techniques for her skin, and then for the next video I'm going to be doing her clothing, and then the last result will be her hair, and then background final will be the background, and I'll give you step by step how you can do that. It'd be a nice reference for you to go back on, just in case if you missed out like any techniques you want general idea, but they're all slightly the same technique in general. So what you need is watercolor paper. Now you can get good standard ones. The one I'm using is a brand, Cassart brand, London. Now this is a London-based brand. They come in good value. They're about £15 for 50 sheets. Now you don't normally get this if you was buying watercolor paper. But Cassart is doing a good range, but you don't really need Cassart. But that's what I'm using. You can buy Wilton Newton's brand. You just need a good starter watercolor paper. Now watercolor paper do come in different weight and sizes and grams and different types of watercolor. For example, this is cold press knot. So it's got a bit of cold press. I don't know about the technical terms of it, but it's a difference to hot press. So cold press is kind of the standard like you would normally buy for watercolor, because it's more heavier, more durable as well. So you're able to absorb paper very nicely. And I normally use cold press for a lot of my paintings because it sort of holds the paper well, and you still get really nice textures for painting. With hot press is more smoother, but they tend to be less than 200 grams. So with that, you have to sort of stretch the paper sometimes, which is quite stretching techniques, which is kind of a bit of a hassle, to be honest. I mean, if you want to try that out, you can. So there's different papers. So that's all you need. So I sketched out this character, this figure, as my tutorial for my tutorials. And also I'm using basic paints. You can buy tubes if you want to. If you want to buy tubes, that's fine, really. Kind of apply the same techniques. And you need some water, so you need clear water. You can use water brushes. Like if you want to use water brushes, that's absolutely fine. You actually apply the same technique applies for watercolor brushes. So that's the basic introduction into watercolors, and I hope you have fun, and I hope you can apply this to your own artwork. So let's get on with this. Let's start the tutorial. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a good size brush. Now this is a good size brush, nice, not too thin, not too big. Get some water, and I'm going to start by, now this is what I tend to do. I'm a little bit unconventional kind of watercolor artist. I'm going to start by lay down some skin tone. What I'm normally going to do is mix up with, if you can see, the brown. It's a bit dark, I know, but okay. So I'm going to start by, just dabbling around her. I'm mainly focusing on her, the shadowy parts of her skin. Just drag the, Now I'm going to dampen the brush a bit, and I'm going to smooth out the edges, smooth out the paints a little bit. So I'm using water, I'm using damp water. Then reapply some of the... This is actually a way of mapping out where the colour is going to go as well. A bit of red, just a touch. So by starting, you know, just starting on the darker areas first, you know, where the shadow hits, you know, and that's a good build up of building up her skin tones. I'm going to do it down here as well. And while it's still wet, you can actually smooth out the you know, you can add more red tones just to make her a little bit more, have a bit of life in her. Like for example, if you've got a red tone, if you use red on your palette, just dabble some like near the warmer areas, like her eyeshadow. If it's too much water, just get some cloth and just dampen the brush. So use a cloth, just dampen it and just move it out a little bit. Don't paint too heavily. A lot of people tend to really press the brush in, and that's a good tip that I like to share, that just paint lightly, just almost like feathery, like almost like air. So dabble. Because the paintbrush is already wet, and then the palette is in the pan is slightly wet as well. So you're just touching up like where the warmer hues are, like her fingertips, for example. There's a lot of blood running in the fingertips and her nose and stuff like that. You see a lot of artists sort of put a lot of warm hues around, you know, these warmer areas to make her appear a little bit more alive. So I'm just going to push this. Yeah. And then just continue adding mix of brown, not brown, but kind of like burnt sienna, I think it's called. Or not burnt sienna, but like sort of yellow with red hues. If you buy a basic kit, you get your basic set. So you got a basic set, you kind of know what so you kind of know what to focus on. You don't have too much. So get some water, clean the brush a little bit, and then you're gonna continue painting with just water. Just drag the paint. You can add some more water just to dilute it a little bit. Even leave out some white areas. It's actually quite nice because you want some light hitting her. So if you wanted to make certain areas a little bit more intense, you can. This is the stage where you're building up the painting. You're not worrying about how the painting will look. You're just building up areas. What I tend to do with watercolours, I start with the background first. But for this tutorial, you can start any way you want, really. Soften the areas. Don't get too, the most mistake people do with watercolours is that they go over the section over and over again. It's best to move on. Like for example, that now I've done the face, I'm kind of moving on to her hands and, you know, and her fingertips. So I'm not too bothered about her, you know, I'm wanting to let it dry for a bit. If I wanted to sort of make the colours smudge, I'll do that quickly as while the paint dries. So I'm adding more warmer hues, just slightly pick up the red. Notice I'm painting very delicately. Don't paint too hard. Don't try. But the watercolor is a very built-up process. It takes a lot of building up to do. So by allowing it to build up slowly, this is why it takes a bit of time with watercolor painting, depending on how you want to paint, really. And it will cover the area. It will cover it. Like most people are used to painting it quite tight, like almost like oils, but watercolor painting doesn't require that. I'm just going to soften this area. the brush I'm using is synthetic, but you can get yourself a set for starters. So I'm going to add a little bit more hues. This is slightly drying a little bit. I want to just add a little more hues just underneath her hair strands. It gives her a nice soft touch to it. So just dabble, like just take your time. You can add more red. You can just double. You can actually add blue if you want to. Maybe add purple. We say purple, but if you feel like you just want to focus this, because this is for skin purposes, that maybe it's best to keep it. You can explore colours if you want to. Just making sure that there. You can see the little bit of shadow that should appear. You can make this light or darker. Add a bit more red here. Just slowly pick up. Once the pan is wet, once the pan is slightly wet, you can actually, there's a tip where you can actually spray your, you can actually use a spray. Let me show you if I can, oh, there it is. You can actually use a spray. You can get this in the art shop if they have them, and just spray it on your pans, and that will kind of, set the pans a bit so that you don't have to constantly keep using the brush to wet it. And that's about it, really. I think that's about it. It's very quick, it's very easy to do. Let me show you how it is. Very easy to do. So while it's drying, you can see that nice tone, very easy to apply. Once the paint settles, it gets a little bit duller. So let the paint settle before you reapply more painting. It's another mistake that people do as well with painting, that they tend to reapply paint while it's drying. You should let it dry completely. Once you're happy how it looks, let it dry, let the paint settle, let the paper settle as well, because the paper needs to sort of absorb all that water. We'll get to that point when we talk about wet and wet techniques, but this technique is mainly just direct painting. You can go back to the and just reapply. It's okay if it looks a bit pinky like red, because she does have nice. You can actually merge the water, using water. You can just paint with water. So you saw with me that I hardly applied applying the paint, because I already applied on the paint. It's just that I use water. It's a dab of water like this, and just keep applying. Just blending that paint in to the surface. And I think that's it, really. That's it. So that's stage 1, or for how to directly paint in watercolours. So let us try them first and then see what's going to happen in the next stage. So that is it for this tutorial. The skin has dried, and you can see that it's nicely blended in. The water has nicely blended the paints into the surface together. You can see that it's got nice tone hues. The colours I used for this tutorial is leather ochre. You can see leather ochre, and a touch of red madder. I think madder, but any red will do, and just for the warmer tones of her skin. So that's it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let me know in the comment below. You can actually contact me through Twitter account, Rebeck's Art, or Instagram at Rebeck. You can actually hashtag your manga illustration. your manga watercolor illustration, just let me know how it goes really, because I'm really interested to know how you paint watercolor illustration. I want to sort of gain an interest in watercolor manga illustrations, and my next stage will be to do her outfit, which will be very exciting. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.